So we have few more compounds for which we will be understanding how naming is done. For example, if you have a compound like this, then we name this as oxa, cyclo, and we have a heteroatom here. We consider it like a carbon as. So for 4 carbons, the root word is but. So we will be taking the root word as but, cyclobutane. Similarly, if we have 5 carbon ring, we will say oxacyclopentane. Alright. Now, we will be understanding how the naming of amines is done. For example, if we have CH3, CH2, NH2, the naming will be root word for 2 carbon is prop and single bonded, so it will be propane. And the suffix for NH2 is amine. So A comes, so we will drop E from ane. So the name goes like this, propanamine, right? And now if you have secondary amine, NH, we have NH, how we will be naming it? Just try to understand. In this, the longest chain is taken as main chain. The longest chain is this. So this is taken as main chain. We have 2 carbon side chain. So this is main chain and we have 2 carbon side chain. Now it is interesting to note that in amines we say that this side chain is attached to N. So we will write this N and we have 2 carbon side chain. So N-ethyl, and in this main chain we have 3 carbons. So root word is prop and single bonded, so it will be in, and we will drop E because amine is coming. So the name is propanamine. So N-ethyl propanamine because it is a secondary amine, right? If you have one side carbon side chain and 4 carbon main chain, what you will say? N-methyl butanamine. Alright, that is how naming of secondary and primary amines is done. I will show you tertiary amine naming. I will have N. Let's say if I have the compound like this, right? Now you can check out that I have 2 side chains, 2 carbon and 2 carbon. These are side chains. The smaller chains are side chains and bigger chain is main chain. So this is main chain. This is a main chain. Now you have side chains, and side chains are always written first, then root word, side chain, root word, in, and then secondary suffix. Now you have 2 side chains and both are attached to N. So NN diethyl, and the main chain has 3 carbons. So the name goes like this, propanamine. Propanamine. Alright, that is how naming of 1 degree, 2 degree and 3 degree amines could be done. Alright, next we will take one example from esters. Esters. I will show one example from each category so that you can understand very easily. So I have taken one example from esters, CH3, CH2, CH2, CO, OCH3. And esters are named like this. Esters are named like this: alkyl alkanoate. Alkyl alkanoate. Alkyl is the part attached to oxygen. Alkyl is the part attached to oxygen. So this part is attached to oxygen. So this is called methyl. And we have a chain of 4 carbons. Alright. So this is methyl and 4 carbon alkane. So what is that? That is butane, and we will add O8. So the name becomes like this: methyl butanoate. Methyl butanoate. The chain attached to O is the side chain. So we have 1 carbon side chain. So this is methyl, and we have 4 carbons in the main chain. If numbering has to be done, just start the numbering from this: 1, 2, 3 and 4. That is how numbering has to happen. Always remember alkyl and alkanoate. Alkyl alkanoate. That is how ester naming is done. This is very unique. People generally commit mistakes in naming of esters. Next, we have anhydrides. So anhydrides, have a simple naming system. Just understand which acid anhydride this is. For example, if we have 2 carbon carboxylic acid, you know this is ethanoic acid. This is ethanoic acid. Now, if two carboxylic acid molecules combine, if two carboxylic acid molecules combine and one water molecule is removed, then we get anhydride. If two carboxylic acid molecules combine and one water molecule is removed, you get anhydride. Alright, so that is how anhydride is formed. So, I have taken one example out here to make you understand how anhydride is formed. So, you have these are two molecules of ethanoic acid. So, ethanoic acid anhydride we are forming. So, the name is ethanoic anhydride. So, anhydride of ethanoic acid is known as ethanoic anhydride. In the naming, just you have to remove acid and write anhydride. So, the corresponding anhydride is named from its carboxylic acid name. Ethanoic acid gives ethanoic anhydride. Alright. And similarly, you have amide, and the secondary suffix for amide is amide as well. So, that is not very difficult. And you have carboxylic acid, and the naming is oic acid. Suffix is oic acid. If you have a 2 carbon carboxylic acid, you will say ethanoic acid. 3 carbon carboxylic propanoic acid. 4 carbon carboxylic butanoic acid. So, that is how naming is. Thank you.